Keep him focused.
I like the way he feels. He feels sticky.
Go about your duties. When the 4 chambers are full, then we'll have what we came for. I want you to believe me. I wish this could have been any other way, Jackie. But we all have tough choices to make, and this is yours.
So you're the fucker who tried to hit us at the restaurant, huh?
Don't talk and don't think. Just listen. You've been keeping something that was once lost. Something that doesn't belong to you. Now you have to choose to give it back. What happens to you is of secondary concern. I only care about one thing. You want the darkness.
And there, we introduce our villain. Or at least the villain that we're showing here. That is Victor. Victor is the head of the Brotherhood, which is an organization which is trying to capture the darkness from Jackie. But before that, first we'll look at sort of this section of the demo is it's set in a restaurant, which is sort of a good place to display our visual style, to talk about the visual style of graphic noir. Now, if you look at different parts of this, you see there's a lot of you can see the hash marks, the hand-painted textures on everything. We call it graphic noir. We had to make up a new name because it is a new style. We wanted it to feel like you were playing a graphic novel.
Here you go, boss.
Bon appetit.
Hi, Jackie. Remember us from the Candy Club? Well, do you? Sure he does.
Trust me, ladies. I wish I did.
So the story of The Darkness 2 is in the same timeline as The Darkness 1. It's 2 years after the events of the first game, and Jackie's the Don of the Estacado family. He's become really powerful in the mob, and he's bottled up the darkness powers for that entire time. So what you're seeing here is somebody trying to take Jackie out, thinking that the darkness powers are just gone, and we don't know who it is at this point in the narrative. But you can tell they're ready to cause all sorts of mayhem as they attack. So this carnage, the explosions exploding Jackie's foot, as you saw there, it's something that he absolutely has to kind of get back out of. So they were trying to pull Jackie out to the back of this restaurant so that he can get into the dark, and he can use that thing he does, as the other guys in the mob call it, to get back at these guys who are attacking them. After being pulled all the way through the restaurant, and 2 years after he first initially bottled up the darkness, Jackie has to summon the darkness back, primarily to, well, heal all of the injuries that he sustained in that attack, but also so that he can get back at these guys, even as they taunt him while he's standing there crawling forward in fire. You can release the darkness on them.
What the hell is that? You see that? Fuck him up good!
Here, finally, we can introduce the demon arms, the grabbing and slashing demon arms, the core part of the gameplay mechanics for The Darkness 2. Now, what we'll show, this is a little tutorial section for this demo so that people can learn how to play. The left demon arm here is a grabbing demon arm. I just grabbed that debris and I used the debris to impale these guys up here. That is one way that you can attack people. Then we have also the slashing demon arm. You can slash in any direction you want. Anybody who comes at you, you can slash them down, you can slash them up in the air, you can slash their leg off, as I just did. Or in half. Also fun. The slashing demon arm is the right bumper on we're playing on a 360, so on the 360 controller it's the right bumper. And those guys are always high up on the screen, so they're kind of a good memory indicator that they are the bumpers. Up here, we will show sort of the second set of weapons. The first are, obviously, these demon arms, who can perform pretty vicious kills. Call that one the wishbone, where you grab the guy by one foot and then the other foot and then slice them in half. But those two demon arms combined with the guns, the demon arms are on the shoulders and they're on the top, the guns are on the bottom, they're on the triggers. It kind of maps well to the brain so that you can always remember kind of within physical space which buttons do which. And then, so it makes it really easy for people to pick up and play. You can dive in, you pick up a car door like I just did, slice somebody in half with it, slash another guy, slice him in half, eat a heart. I also like to pick up parking meters, especially fun to impale guys. There are a lot of ways that you can quad wield. Also returning for the Darkness 2 is your Darkling. For the Darkness 2, we really wanted the Darkling to be a character. He's part of the narrative, he's part of the story. So, in the Darkness 1, there were a bunch of Darklings. They were sort of helpful parts of combat. But because there were so many of them, you couldn't really integrate them into the narrative in a way that would make it really fulfilling. So here we try to consolidate all of that kind of awesome into one dude who's sort of your sidekick. He's with you at almost all times. Finding weapons like you did right here, where he hands you the Uzi, you can use the Uzi. He really does help you use your quad wielding awesomeness better. He'll pull people out so that you can get to them. He'll pull people to you so that you can slash them in half. Whenever he is distracting somebody, you can immediately pick them up with the grabbing demon arm and execute them with a demon arm execution. He's a really helpful part of combat. Darkness 2, like Darkness 1, you want to be in the dark, not the light. When you walk into the light, the screen washes out. There's a ringing in your ears. It's hard to see things. Your demon arms go away. Your powers go away. You stop regenerating. It's a really bad thing. And what we wanted to do was make sure that it felt as bad to the player as it does to Jackie. So even though it's really early in the gameplay, we felt so kind of confident in quad wielding gameplay that we felt like we could throw a bunch of enemies at you really quickly, and it would still feel easy to play and easy to understand. The quad wielding is really intuitive. It makes sense what you're supposed to do to move forward, all the different options for how you kill somebody. Of course, in any one of these combat arenas, one of the things that Jackie needs to do to help power up the darkness is eat the hearts of the enemies. Eating hearts not only gives you some more dark essence, which is what you use for your progression mechanic, it also fills up your health bar. So, it helps you immensely to go right into the middle of combat. Oh, also helpful is the subway car sometimes, which just knock down all of those guys. The subway from the first game, from the Darkness 1, was sort of a narrative space. It was a space that you would go to kind of move between some of the different areas of the city that you could go to, and it was a space for the story. That's why we wanted to make the subway for the Darkness 2 sort of surprisingly new. Absolutely combat.